Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast, episode 10. I'm your host, Jacob Rice.
And I'm Jarrod.
Yeah. As you've probably noticed by now, our audio has become much clearer as we've moved into the future and bought an actually good microphone.
Yeah. Yeah, we spent monies on this.
Yay. Now it's a thing. Now you have to feel bad if you don't listen to us.
Yes. Now there's no excuse to not listen to
Absolutely no excuse. So... Obviously, last week we did a bit. We tried to avoid doing all the Avengers spoilers, and we talked a bit about stuff like that.
Yeah.
We've got a big Avengers spoiler discussion coming out tomorrow, where basically we just gush for like an hour.
Yeah, we wanted to go for like 30, 45 minutes. Ended up going for like an hour and 10.
Because we just
really
really loved that movie. Yeah, and we just couldn't stop. I ended up giving like a play-by-play of the last fight.
Yeah.
But that's fine. It was just such a good movie. I just enjoyed it so much.
It was brilliant.
But unfortunately, to go from a really, really good movie that, you know, was everything we wanted to a movie that just looks like shit.
Oh, yeah.
So the trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Jesus.
We all saw the poster a few months ago, and we all...
It looks garbage.
Yeah.
It
We all knew it looked like crap then, and it was going to be a terrible movie.
Yeah.
And then the trailer came out, and it's so much worse than we thought.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to talk about that for a little bit. Was there any part of that trailer that gave you any hope for this movie?
No. Well, honestly, like, when I first saw it, I thought it was a joke. I honestly thought it was a joke because I honestly thought it was a joke because I woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning to watch it. Not because I was excited for it, but because I just happened to wake up and it happened to be there. I've clicked on it and I watched half of it, stopped it, and went, "This has to be a joke. This can't be real." And then watched the whole thing. It's actually real. They're actually going ahead with this.
Yeah.
They purposely made him look like that. That doesn't look like Sonic.
It looks like trash.
It looks like trash. It's terrible. Oh, man.
I know, it's so upsetting. It really is. Like, Sonic is it's a good character. It's like something that there's a lot of potential behind it, but they just can't seem to nail this thing down.
Well, I was always kind of skeptical on them making Sonic the Hedgehog movie because
there's not a lot of story
there's not a lot of
and
story.
runs sideways and collects rings.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of story there. Like, he's just a hedgehog that runs really fast.
Yeah, well, that is true.
I mean, he's basically the Flash, but not as cool.
But crap.
Yeah, but crap, pretty much. Well, this version is.
But it's weird that they've got a Sonic that looks ridiculous, like completely out of place, but they've managed to make a movie about Detective Pikachu where all of the Pokemon look like they could actually fit where they are.
Yeah, I mean, because it looks like, it looks like the cartoon, but it looks adorable.
It does, and when it's supposed to look horrifying, it looks horrifying.
Yeah, I mean, like, it stays true to the source material. It doesn't stray from it. They didn't try to be super creative with it because they didn't try to fix something that wasn't broke. I don't know why, but they tried to, you know what, let's give Sonic a different look, make him look more human, more realistic. No, just looks like a Smurf with Nikes.
Yeah. No, he's a hedgehog. Why didn't you try making him look like a hedgehog? It's not that hard. It's like, do you know what they did for Detective Pikachu? They took all the Pokemon and they're like, do you know what would be cool if we did? If we made the Pokemon look like Pokemon. It just makes me so angry. It's like, why anthropomorphize?
But apparently, and I saw a thing today that they were thinking about, like, there was a Twitter post that they said, like, possibility of Sonic the Hedgehog being redesigned. I'm like, now you're thinking of doing that?
Yeah, I feel like it's too little too late. It already looks like... It's not just the way Sonic looks that makes this movie bad.
Who's doing it? Paramount?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, it is Paramount.
Yeah, they're not going to redo it.
Yeah, no.
They're not redoing it. They're sticking with that. The only funny thing from the trailer is when he's in the bag and he just...
And he starts talking.
And they're
like, oh, is there a child in your bag? And he's like, no. It's not mine.
No, it's not a child. Well, it's not my child.
Yeah. Like, that's the only funny part of the trailer, and I imagine it's probably the only actually funny part of the movie. I just dropped the microphone. That was entirely my bad. Let's ignore that. So yeah, it just looks crap.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to this at all.
I mean, it will be a real slap in the face if it actually turns out to be good. I doubt it will be, but I have a feel. But you know, anything's possible.
I mean, we'll watch it. We'll put
I'll
a
watch
review about it, and we'll probably give it like a star, maybe 2.
I mean, I like Sonic. I play the game every now. I played the game.
I mean,
like it.
the
It's not
games
my
the
favourite
games
game.
are fun, but they're time kill fun.
Yeah.
They're not great for story and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like Mario. It's like playing Mario. It's good time killing fun. It's not. I don't really play it for the story.
Yeah, and I feel like the Sonic movie is gonna sit firmly in the Mario movie
Yeah.
slot of being just pure trash.
I mean, wasn't the Mario movie that was made in like the late
80s?
The 80s? Yeah. That I've obviously I think it'll be a little bit better than that because like they actually have technology to make Sonic come to life, but. Jesus, like not like this.
I have
Not like
no
this.
faith in this whatsoever.
I have a little bit of faith. I mean, Paramount has not made. I mean, they've made some good movies. I mean, their track record's not great, but hopefully they can pull it off. I just don't understand why they have to divvy from the source material when it comes to video game movies. Pokemon seem to do it right. Why not just take a fucking page out of their book?
Yeah, I know it's really irritating. Like the material's there, just use it.
Yeah.
But they clearly haven't. And it looks like crap. Maybe if they redesign it, it might become acceptable. But I doubt it. Like the story doesn't look that great.
Yeah. It's like I feel like, but that's just the trap of making a video game movie. It's a trap of making a video game movie because everyone wants to try and put like their own kind of spin on it, but they always divvy way too far from the source material and make it really unrecognizable. I think like I never saw the new Tomb Raider movie. I heard it wasn't that great though.
I wanted to watch it purely because it had Nick Frost in it, and then never got around to it.
Yeah.
I think a couple of other things came out around the same time that I was actually genuinely interested in, so I just didn't go around to watching it.
Yeah. I mean, that's like I would apparently like I think in like the 80s or 90s was it Mortal Kombat?
I love the 80s, and like that strays into so bad is good territory.
Yeah. I mean, like it's like what you said. It's so bad that it's so good yet so bad. Like that fight between him and Goro. Goro doesn't do anything. Like, he just gets punched in the nuts by Johnny Cage and just.
And it's great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But that's what Mortal Kombat is. It set its precedence in being ridiculously over the top and quite violent, and then they made a movie that was ridiculously over the top and quite violent.
Yeah.
I
would
mean,
love to see a
obviously,
remake
the
of
story
that.
was a bit cheesy and the acting was even cheesier, but
Oh,
within
yeah.
the realms of Mortal Kombat, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like one of the main characters is Johnny Cage, who is a movie star turned hero, like an action hero turned action hero, who who saves Earthrealm from Shao Kahn and from Outworld. So it's ridiculous. But I would love to see that movie be redone, especially now. Like
yeah, definitely.
like with the technology they got now. Fuck, that'd be fantastic.
I mean, if we're gonna spitball that, who would you have play Johnny Cage?
Me.
Yeah, me. I'll do it.
Well,
I volunteer as tribute.
I won't play it. I'll direct it. How about that? I'll write and direct it.
Yeah. Okay. So who are you gonna cast as Johnny Cage? Bearing in mind there is only one correct answer for
If
this.
Nathan Fillion was younger, I'd probably cast him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would you put?
Ryan Reynolds
Oh yeah.
or Chris Pratt.
Tom Hiddleston would be bad.
No, I don't think he's got the.
The comedy chops for it.
Oh, he's got the comedy chops. It's just a different kind of comedy. I feel like Ryan Reynolds and Chris Pratt could pull off that being hit in the nuts comedy,
What about-
like sense of humor.
Chris Hemsworth pulls off more of like a doofus kind of character.
Yeah.
But he's funny, but he plays off more of that kind of character. I don't know. Yeah, I suppose Chris Pratt maybe.
I mean, just imagine Chris Pratt,
Yeah.
but with Johnny Cage's new fatality.
Oh yeah.
And, like, uppercuts him,
Yeah.
breaks his jaw.
Yeah.
It's like, no, do that again.
Have you seen?
Flick.
Have you played?
Uppercut.
have-
No,
not
not yet.
No, not yet. I feel like we should play that soon. Well, I want to
Yeah,
go out.
we'll,
Really want to go out and buy it.
We'll go and get it, and we'll do a Twitch stream
Yeah.
maybe next weekend.
Yeah, when we figure out how to actually work it.
No, I think I fixed it this afternoon as I get.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, we'll be live streaming at some point during the week.
Yeah.
We did live stream again last week, but the clip didn't save, so if you weren't actually on the stream, you've missed out.
Yeah.
That's my bad. But from
So you gotta stay on top of it, guys. Come on.
even though we didn't announce we were going to do it before we did it, we just dropped it.
Yeah, come on, guys. You gotta stay on Twitch.
Just constantly be on Twitch on a Thursday afternoon or Friday afternoon.
Yeah, it's not like you got work or anything.
So I think Sonic's release date is set for the 9th of November, the 13th of November, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Like early November. Detective Pikachu comes out on the 9th, which is, I'm going to say 5 days away? 5 days away.
Yeah, 5 days away.
And then, I think that's it for that. The other release date that was announced this week on Pottermore, which is, for those not in the know, is J.K. Rowling's website, where she drops all the extra bits of information about the world, the wizarding world of Harry Potter, and like
Wait, what's it called?
It's called Pottermore.
Pottermore.
Yeah,
As in like more Potter?
as in more Potter. Yes.
Clever.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's got like the actual sorting test on it and stuff like that. And it's got like a backstory on characters and events and the history of Hogwarts and like snippets of stuff like that. On that website this morning, the release date for Fantastic Beasts 3 was announced.
Yeah. They pushed
in
that
the very,
back.
very, very distant future.
Yeah, they pushed it back like a
They've
year.
pushed it back to the 12th of November, 2021.
Oh my god. It's only... Jeez.
So for those listening to this on the release date, it's currently the 4th of May, 2019. So you've got 2.5 years before the next Fantastic Beasts movie come out.
Yeah, that gives you enough time to watch the movies and read the books twice.
I am a fan of having to wait more than 12 months for a movie to come out.
I'm not.
It's already been more than 12 months. So I was convinced that at the end of this year, we were going to get Fantastic Beasts 3.
Wait,
Because
when did Grindelwald come out?
Last Christmas.
Last Christmas.
You gave me my heart.
Like the song.
Like the like the song.
It took me a second to get that.
No, it's okay. So it's been out for so long.
Yeah.
And then it may have come out in like January of last year,
Yeah.
and now we've got to wait till Christmas in 2 years' time for a movie that is the halfway part, not even the conclusion of
I just want to see
the franchise.
I still can't believe so Dumbledore's gay, isn't he?
Yes, Dumbledore's gay.
I didn't picture that. I didn't see that.
We've known that for years and years.
Well,
and
I'm
years.
clearly not that big of a Harry Potter fan.
Well, clearly you're not. Otherwise, you'd have known that.
Yeah, I'm more of a Star Wars guy.
That's fair. I mean, I'm a franchise guy. I'm a big fan of like any fantasy franchise. I'll hop on board to that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll go out and watch. I've seen all the Harry Potter movies. I just, it's not my cup of tea. I prefer space wizards.
Yeah, I want space wizards, not wizards.
Yeah, well, I want fully grown. I want like old wizards in space, not
Old wizards on Earth.
not like prepubescent teens.
I mean, there are no teens in it now?
Oh, yeah, there is.
No, there isn't.
Oh yeah, you're right. There isn't. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the old trilogy.
Yeah, that it also wasn't a trilogy.
You,
It was 8 movies.
You know what I mean.
Last time I checked, 8s were 3.
Sorry, I made a mistake.
Yeah, you goddamn right you did. I accept your apology.
I never apologized.
Apologize.
Fine, I apologize.
I accept your apology. I just think it's weird that it would take so long to get there, and also that they would announce that, especially such a specific date now.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like, oh, it'll come of
Well, they probably had to do like
winter
reshoots or
to
there was,
that. Yeah.
like problems with like the script or something like that.
it's 2 years away.
Yeah.
That's not reshoots.
Yeah, that's redoing the movie.
Yeah, so I just feel like they didn't go, I'll be winter of 2021.
Yeah.
They were just like, I'll be the 12th of November 2021, which is an exact release date, which is a bit strange.
Yeah.
Like, you'd think that now they would go, oh, at the very least, November.
Unless it was a typo and they just didn't change it.
Maybe, I can't see that happening then.
Yeah.
Yeah, middle of winter though. Well, not here, middle of summer here, but
Yeah.
winter over in the UK. I just, yeah. Early November seems weird. I feel like if you're going to go for like a major franchise release, you might as well wait till Christmas.
Yeah, I suppose. They usually do that here. I don't know how they do it in the UK.
I mean, we all get the same release dates,
We do?
more or less within a week. Yeah, for
Right.
major film releases anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of the middle of winter though, Game of Thrones.
Shit, that's a that's a segue and a half.
Winter is not coming. Winter is here. So we're about. I know there's 7 episodes, so technically halfway through the next episode will be the exact halfway point of Game of Thrones. But we had a major end to one of the 2 branching storylines this week.
Is Khaleesi dead yet?
No.
Okay.
Spoiler alert in effect for Game of Thrones as of 16 minutes and 40 seconds.
I'm gonna let you take this one because I don't watch it.
No, that's fine. So we're at the halfway point of Game of Thrones. Basically, it was the big fight again. I assume you get the general gist of Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, it's
So,
just
like-
Dungeons, Dragons, and titties.
Yeah, you nailed it. Actually, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So the whole 7 seasons leading up to this has been it's obviously been the war for the Iron Throne, and in the background there's been this looming threat of the White Walkers, which
Yeah.
is basically just
Zombies.
So there's these
It looks like Darth
there's
Maul,
these
but if he was
undead wizard
white.
people who look like Darth Maul, who raise people from the dead, and they use that as an army.
Nice.
And they've been building to this battle for 7 seasons. And we finally got to it, and it was an hour and a half long episode. It was a good episode. The problem being that when they shot it, they refused to use artificial lighting to give it an authentic feel. Only they decided that the entire fight was to take place at nighttime
Yeah.
under a blizzard.
Nice.
So, for those of you who have seen it, will be aware of this. If you saw what happened in the first 25 to 30 minutes,
Yeah.
you're a liar. Okay? I watched it on a 4K TV, and I couldn't see a damn thing. Now, I get that maybe to a certain extent that was to add atmosphere to dread. There's a cool I've released a breakdown, a mid-season breakdown. There's an article up online now.
I mean, it could have been used to build suspension.
It could have, but I feel like in order to build suspension, you have to be able to see very little, not nothing at all.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it's there's flashes of characters, so you vaguely know who you're looking at.
Yeah.
But I could have just as well watched it with my eyes closed and my headphones in as watched it on TV. Which it's mildly upsetting if I'm fair. But there is a bit about 25-30 minutes in where the Fire Witch lady comes in and she sets fire to there's a boundary because the zombies are weak to fire. So they set fire to the boundary, which adds a lot of light.
They're weak to fire. Don't they have dragons?
Yeah, so the whole point was that they couldn't see down because of the blizzard, which is why I assume the blizzard was there. Anyway, so the Fire Witch comes out because she's realised that the dragons can't see, with Khaleesi and Jon Snow riding a dragon each.
Yeah.
And they couldn't see because of the blizzard, so she goes out and she does a little magic thing where she sets the barrier on fire. Which is cool.
Couldn't have done that 10 minutes earlier.
But I've seen a whole bunch of memes. It's I'd like to personally thank the Red Witch for adding some light to the episode, just to let us know what was going on. It was a good episode. There was a lot of build up before it's a lot of pressure for the episode, really, where they were saying that it's the biggest battle since the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
It was the most expensive TV show episode ever, and all this stuff. And everyone, like, well, especially me, because I'm a massive pessimist when it comes to stuff like that, thought that maybe it had been overhyped and that it wouldn't live up to that hype.
Yeah.
And other than, like, I know it sounds like a lot of time, like the first 20 minutes, where the character building actually worked, even if you couldn't see much. Like, the bits where they cut away to, like, inside.
Yeah.
Like, that character building works. And it shouldn't work in, like, something as grander scale as, like, a huge battle like this.
Yeah.
But they still found time for, like, this sort of, like, this intricate character building thing that Game of Thrones has become famous for.
Yeah.
And so it did live up to that hype. Like, it was really good. But for those of you who haven't seen it, this is your last spoiler warning. At the end, so they've built, for 7 seasons, they've built Jon Snow versus the Night King.
Right.
So the Night King keeps showing up because obviously Jon's on the wall north, which is where all the White Walkers are beyond the wall for the first 7
So
seasons.
what's beyond that wall? Just ice?
It's like a wasteland.
Right.
So there's like a race called the Wildlings.
Right.
They're considered the uncivilized people, and the White Walkers are out there.
I mean, from what I've seen, a few episodes of Dungeons and Dragons. Sorry, Game of Thrones, and from what I've seen, there's a few uncivilized people on the inside of the wall.
Yeah, well, there are. So the point is that they're the Wildlings. They live in like camps and stuff like that. They don't have buildings and stuff.
Right.
And anyway, so like from I think the end of the first season, maybe the beginning of the second season, they start venturing north of the wall, and then you start encountering like zombies and White Walkers and stuff, and they keep building like Jon, who's got at this point a sword made of the only metal that can kill them, which is Valyrian steel. I don't know why it's special. I'm sure it has been explained at some point. But
Does it get really hot?
No.
Sorry, I'm not putting shit on it. I'm just asking. That's actually a real question.
No, it doesn't. It's just like I think it's infused with like dragon glass, or it's made from this stuff that basically. So basically, the White Walker was created because he was a normal person, and then some I can't remember what they're called. Basically, like little elf people put elves as in Lord of the Ring elves, not
Okay.
elves as in Santa's little helper. Comes along and shoves dragon glass into his heart, and that's when he turns into a White Walker.
Nice.
There is like a full history about that, but I'm not going to go into it on the podcast. Basically,
we can have a different podcast.
Yeah,
for that.
the dragon glass stuff basically becomes his only weakness.
Yeah.
You find out in this episode that he's immune to dragon fire.
Yep.
Which is cool. But they build up this this one-on-one between like Jon Snow and the Night King. Like they keep coming across paths. Like when he goes north, they find a village that's been destroyed, and then they see him in the distance, and he does this weird arm race thing, and all the dead people come back to life.
Oh yeah.
And then they escape, and then like later on, they go back north because they're looking for something, and then they get surrounded on a lake, and they're on like a rock in the middle of the lake, but the dead can't cross it because the ice will collapse, and they have they stare each other down during that.
Nice.
And they've built it to like, oh, this is going to end with Jon Snow fighting the Night King, and they tease it in the battle.
Yeah.
They like Jon lands, he crashes his dragon, and then he gets up and he sees the Night King, and he like runs at him as the Night King's trying to raise all of the dead that have died in the battle.
Yeah.
To like basically restock his army. And then he manages to do it, just walks off. And like Jon's just left to fight all these dead people, and you're like, okay, so if Jon's failed, then at least he'll die, right? Because it's Game of Thrones, and like they kill major characters. Nope, he's fine. Daenerys shows up with another dragon and saves him, and he runs off. And then they start swamping the dragon, and you're like, okay, this is where they kill the dragon. And then nope, that's fine. And then she rolls off, and then you're like, oh, she's gonna die to the White Walkers. Nope, She gets saved. And then, like, the little, like, side character that's there who's just been, well, irritating me for 4 seasons, he died. So at least that. And they kind of put it...
Who's that?
She's basically his Khaleesi's stalker.
Yuck, no.
Yeah, and so he basically dies, and it tries to film it like it's like a self-sacrifice, but if you look at it from like a technical standpoint, she basically uses him as a meat shield, which is funny. And yeah, and then Arya, who's had absolutely no interactions with the dead at any point or any major battle in Game of Thrones so far, sort of jumps from behind, goes to stab him. The Night King catches her, and then she drops the knife, catches it, stabs him, and he explodes. And then all of the other like White Walkers explode, and then all the dead people just
so it's very Phantom Menace.
Yeah. It's a bit like that. Like they've blown up the main ship and all the droids have just
they just
fall down. Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Yeah.
And you're like...
Well, where's the challenge then? So you just got to kill one person.
It was a big... Like, it was an hour and a half fight, and the whole point was, like, they had to get to him. He was, like, the Night King was the important one.
Yeah.
But, like, Jon Snow should have been able to do it. Bran, who's a kid, and he's in a wheelchair. He's basically psychic. Basically, I don't know what... It never fully explains how it's happened.
Charles Xavier?
He becomes the Three-Eyed Raven, is what they call him. And he, basically...
Is this the kid from the first episode who gets pushed out of a tower?
Yes. And he can... Basically, he can give himself visions of any point in history. And that's...
Well, that's the biggest ex-machina I've ever heard in my life.
It kind of is, but he can't see anything in the future. So when they're like...
So he can only see the past?
Yeah.
Well, that's pointless. That's useless.
Well, no, the whole point is he is humanity's history.
Right.
So when in the Night King's war against mankind, the easiest way to get rid of people is to kill him because he is the history of mankind. So once he's got rid of all of the history, he just go out and kill everyone, it'll be fine.
Right.
So that's the point. Anyway, yeah, so this teenage assassin chick who just basically comes out of nowhere and stabs him. It's all over. And I kind of feel like that's a bit of an anticlimax. And, like, I know it's Game of Thrones and, like, the whole point is that it'll go for the rug pull every time. I just feel like it was a missed opportunity. And that maybe because it is rug pulled so many times...
Yeah.
That this final fight against the big bad, realistically...
Yeah.
Should have either been held off until a later episode, like had them lose this fight, and then they escape and they have another fight later, or at the very least have one of the characters who's gone up against him like multiple times be the one that kills him.
Yeah.
I just feel like having a surprise finish to something like this takes away from it rather than adds to it.
How many episodes are left?
4.
There's 4 episodes left.
Yeah.
Okay. So
now I assume it'll go into them going back for the Iron Throne.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you.
Yeah.
Who do you think will sit on the Iron Throne? Who do you think will get
the
throne?
Now that it's done this,
Yeah.
Jon Snow.
Jon Snow?
Yeah.
What about Peter Dinklage?
No, I don't think it will. I have a very funny feeling he's going to die in the second to last episode.
Oh, that would suck for him.
So there's always a major death. There has always been a major death or a major plot twist in the second to last episode of Game of Thrones.
No, fair enough.
So, like Ned Stark's head was cut off in the second to last episode of Game of Thrones.
What season?
Season 1.
Ha!
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
forgot about that.
He had to die. He was played by Sean Bean.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's like a big meme now. He's like
Apparently he's got the second most deaths in a film of all time, like actors.
Like he's the one who always gets killed.
He has died and across his films.
Yeah.
He has died the second most amount of times.
Was he in
Lord of the Rings?
He was in Lord of the Rings.
National Treasure.
He was in National Treasure.
He didn't die in that.
No, he didn't die in that. He got sent to prison.
Yeah.
Was he in Die Hard? I feel like he was in Die Hard.
No, he was in James Bond.
He was in James Bond. Did he die in James Bond?
Yes. Fell out of a plane or a helicopter or some shit.
Nice.
But yeah, so he has got the second most amount of deaths in film after Christopher Lee, apparently.
Who's Christopher Lee?
Christopher Lee played Count Dooku in Star Wars.
Oh yeah. Has he done anything else? I feel like he would have.
Yeah, he was the original Dracula.
But how the fuck was I supposed to know that?
I mean, because we do podcasts about movies, and the guy's been acting for 60 years.
I didn't
till
know
his
he was
untimely death.
I didn't know he was the original Dracula. That's actually kind of cool.
Also, he was in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Holy shit, he was the dentist. He
the
was
dentist.
Willie's dad.
He was Willie's dad.
He was Willie's dad.
As opposed to Dad's Willie, which is something completely else.
Oh man.
So to stop. Yeah. So basically, if you want to hear more about Game of Thrones, go and read the breakdown. I tried to keep that one as short as I could. But yeah, I can't help but feel a little bit disappointed with how this episode went. I know a lot of people are really happy with it, and outside of like the cinematic blackness of the first 20 minutes, they were like, "Oh, it's the best episode ever." Personally, I'm really disappointed, but I think maybe that's because we do this.
I mean,
and like I look at everything from a technical standpoint now, and like I feel like stories should follow us. And
I mean, like the first two episodes, from what I've heard, were like they went up.
It built the tensions really, really well.
But then you got that peak. I mean, then you got like that decline, and then it can only go up from here, unless it's just going to be absolutely terrible, which I doubt it will.
I don't think it's going to be terrible, and like I think it depends on what you want to get out of Game of Thrones. Like, people really enjoyed the big battles and stuff like that. Yeah. Personally, I watch it for I don't like the fight scene so much, like where they get the sword fights and the dragons come out and set fire to shit, and people cast magic and blow stuff up and all this crap.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Oh yeah, look, that's Game of Thrones at its peak." I don't. I like the intricate part of storytelling in everything. Like the conversations between two people who are clearly going for power, but don't want to say they're going for power. Those conversations where there's small details in dialogue and the way they act and look at each other that give away their true like intentions. I love that. That's character building, and that's pure storytelling. Yeah, and that's what I like. Like,
no, fair enough. No, I completely agree with you. I'm into movies like that. I'm into movies and TV shows like that with rich dialogue and like rich acting and storytelling. Yeah, like to bring up again Umbrella Academy. I know you haven't watched all of it yet. Not all of it. But you can ruin it for me. I'm not going to ruin it. Right, cool. But that follows a group of 5 or 6 kids. Yeah. With superpowers. But they very, very, very rarely use their superpowers. Obviously, it's not about them having powers. Number 5, you can teleport, so the teleportation is used quite a lot. Yeah. But like one of them's super strong. One of them can make people do whatever they want, and I think she uses it maybe 3, 4 times in the entire show. And because it's not about the powers, they are given the powers. That's a framing device. Yeah. The way they interact with each other and the way they discover things that have happened and why they've happened and what's happening or going to happen in the future, and like dialogue, stuff like that, is what pushes that show forward. And there isn't a major like superpower display until the very end of the very last episode. Yeah. Which I love. Like, that's the way it should be. I mean, have you watched a TV show called, it's on Netflix, Dirk Gently? I've seen the first episode, but I've read the books and they're the same. Like, they don't go for huge action set pieces. It's all interconnecting, like storytelling, like weaving in and out of each other, like characters coming in and coming back and talking. And like that show, Dirk Gently, Holistic Detective. That is the biggest mind fuck. I love it. It's such a it's very good. And it's very much like a good show. It's such a good show, and even like throughout the entire thing, because basically like holistic detective, he solves crimes without any clues. It's just all coincidence. Yeah, he just sort of guesses. Guesses with evidence, I think. He guesses with evidence, and even the guy like what's his name? He was Frodo. What's his name?
Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood. His character, who was like his sidekick or like his assistant, that's what he calls him. He just goes like, you don't have any evidence. You don't have any clues. You're not solving anything. You're just lucky.
Yeah, I love the first interaction before we move on to the next thing. When he gets home, he's witnessed that the crime in the hotel in the very first episode.
Yeah,
which is not a spoiler. And he gets home and Dirk Gently's got in. He's like, "How did you get in?" He's like, "Oh, I climbed through the window." And the guy's like, starts freaking out. Dirk just looks at him and he goes, "Are you a criminal or an assistant?" And he's like, "I'm not a criminal." And he's like, "You're an assistant then." Like, he just picks up people he runs into them. He's like, "You've either committed a crime or you're going to work with me." Like, that's just how it works. Yeah, I love that. Anyway, moving on to other announcements this week. I also did an article on this as well. Microsoft announced recently a new console. But despite the fact that PlayStation have announced specs for the PS5 and Nintendo are moving from towards what people are referring to as like a hard switch, which is basically it's the Nintendo Switch, but the controllers don't come off, so it's portable only, I think.
So it's PSP.
It's a Nintendo.
PSP.
It's a Nintendo DS. Like, Nintendo have more portable consoles than PlayStation. So it's a Nintendo.
Alright, whatever.
Yeah, a PSP is a PS-Tendo if you want to get technical.
Okay, fine.
But Microsoft really pushing the technological background, decided they were going to release the Xbox One S AD, I believe they're calling it, which is all digital, earning itself the nickname the Xbox SAD. And it really is, because all it is the Xbox One S with no disc drive.
That's such that just shows that they're running out of ideas.
But like, it
I
doesn't
understand
make sense.
why they did it. They did it so they can, so you just have to download the games from the Microsoft store, so you can just play. So you don't have to go out and buy the games. But I like going out and buy the games. I like doing that.
Yeah, look, I understand why it was done.
Yeah,
but it was done wrong. So they've released this console. I don't know if it's released, but they've announced the console. Actually, it must have been released because somebody got their hands on one.
Yeah,
and they released it for the same price, minus $50. This is US prices. I don't know the Australian prices. I don't think it's out here yet.
yeah.
But so it's $450 US to buy an Xbox One S.
So
It's $400 to buy an Xbox One S without a disc drive, which is all well and good, except apparently someone's got one, taken the case off, and it's the same stuff with the disc drive unplugged and thrown out. But they haven't added a bigger hard drive or anything, so it's still just the 1 terabyte one, despite the fact you've got to store everything digitally.
Yeah.
Because you can't put a disc in there. So all of your games downloaded as applications, which, I mean, you know how big they are.
Yeah.
And they didn't even bother to let's get bugger up again. They didn't even bother to release a one with an 8 terabyte hard drive or something.
Yeah.
So that you could store more games on it. It doesn't make sense. And even the ad, the TV ad that they had for it, where it was basically just a bunch of people sat around a table going, "Oh, how are we gonna advertise an all digital Xbox?" And they're standing around, they discuss it, and it's your usual shitty rigmarole. And then someone gets up, they've had a really genius idea, gets a bit of white tape, and they just put it over the disc tray.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's even advertising that, this is nothing special.
Yeah.
It is just the same thing with the tape over the... They may as well have just re-released all of the Xbox One S's they had in stock and actually just taped up the disc drive. It's ridiculous.
Oh, man.
But, I don't understand why it's happening in a world where, we are rapidly moving into the next generation of consoles.
Yeah, it's because they're trying to bring out something new. They're trying to bring out something new as fast as they can.
Yeah, and
like without taking into regards of what people actually want.
Yeah, and I get why they're doing it, because like it's a company and you need to keep moving forward with all of your stuff and like moving on and on, because it's the world of technology and gaming, and it's become very competitive, especially in the last sort of this generation of console. I would say has been the most competitive. The three big gaming console companies have ever been.
Yeah.
Nintendo, I believe, personally, has successfully separated itself from that console war.
Yeah.
As it's
Nintendo have really played it right.
They've not gone, oh, we're a console and we're going head to head with PlayStation and Xbox, and they go, this is what we're doing, it's not the same.
Yeah.
So, like, a lot of people, if they've gone and bought a Switch, also own an Xbox or PlayStation. But PlayStation have sold something ridiculous, 22 million consoles or something.
Yeah.
Which just blew Microsoft out of the water, and it's because of stuff like this. Microsoft feel the need to put new product out there without putting new, like, good product out there. So, like, there's the Xbox One S, the Xbox One X, the Xbox SAD, and PlayStation have got the PS4, and then the PS4 Pro,
and then PS5 coming out soon.
And then because the PS4 came out and it ran perfectly and there was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
And then they found a way to give the PS4 4K capability and make it faster and quieter.
Yeah.
More importantly, quieter. And they re-released the PS4 as the PS4 Pro with more powerful stuff, but it didn't isolate anything else. Whereas Xbox, this is the fourth iteration of the same console in 5 years.
So.
And it's pointless.
They got to pick up the game.
And like, they're announcing this and releasing this at the same time that Sony have come out and they've gone, so the PS5, we've got a few test ones that are working. It runs 8K, which is crazy to me. It's got like I think the base one is a terabyte hard drive.
Yeah.
Which is double what the base one for this is. Like quadruple, because the base PS4 one's 250 gig.
Yeah.
It gives Spider-Man PS4 running that game on it. It can load in 0.5 seconds. So half-second loading times.
Yeah,
which is insane. And then Xbox come out and goes, doesn't need a disc, because they're stupid. And it doesn't build customer support. All it's doing is it's turning fans of Xbox against Xbox.
Yeah.
So realistically what they've done is they've shot themselves in the foot, because now all PlayStation need to do is not bugger it up.
Yeah. I mean, like, it kind of sucks because I grew up with Xbox. I love Xbox. Like, that was like one of the first consoles I got. Actually, that's a lie. My first console was a PlayStation, but the first two player. I remember playing 2-player with my brother on Halo. Like, you remember the OG Ice Map?
Yeah.
On Xbox One.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I remember playing that on the OG black and green Xbox. And that was awesome. I love that. I do love Xbox, but right now they're just, as you said, they're just coming out with the same crap over and over and over again.
Yeah.
They just need to bring out something nice.
And if they release the new Xbox,
hell, hire me. I'll think up something good. I'll think of something good.
Yeah, but you see what I mean? Like they've almost poisoned their own fan base against them, because like,
don't get me wrong. Like, I'll go out. I'll buy an Xbox if they bring out a good product.
Yeah,
I'm not buying something that if you take $50 off it and don't give me a disc tray.
Yeah, but if they've assuming that they are going to release a next gen console at the same time, which I'm pretty sure they called. There is a project. Is it Xbox Phoenix or something like that?
Oh god.
I don't think that's the official name of the console. I think that's the project the console is working under. Same way as the Xbox One X was running under Scorpion.
As in like Mortal Kombat?
No, as in it was the Xbox Scorpion. Because they didn't know what they were.
It's got that sting to it.
Yeah, Sure, we'll go with that. But, like, if they're gonna, after this, if they release a console at the same price that Sony is gonna release the PS5, after Sony have gone through a whole system in 5 years without a single screw up, really. Like, major screw up, anyway.
Yeah.
And you're gonna go, and you go into a shop and they go, oh, you've got to pick one. You're gonna go, I'll buy a PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm always gonna buy a PlayStation. I kind of want to get like a PlayStation 1. That'd be awesome. I would like to play that again.
Yeah, I've got a PS2 around, so we might start doing, if I can work out how to make it work, we might do some videos on
Nice.
old school PS1 games
Nice.
that famously suck. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is a huge misstep from Microsoft, and I really hope they can fix it before the end of the year, because I do actually think that maybe the PS5 is a lot closer than we think.
Oh yeah.
Like, E3 is coming up. Apparently PlayStation is doing an announcement before that. They're not doing a major PSX or attending E3 at all.
Who?
Sony.
Ooh.
There is no Sony showcase at E3, and they're not doing a PS Expo this year. I think because they don't have anything to show. They showed everything last year.
Yeah.
They're keeping everything really close to the chest. So the only announcement I could imagine is if they come out and they go, there'll be a new console out, and it'll be out in September.
I'm excited
Or-
for that.
I would say if they do a major announcement, it would be smart, especially if they got a test one now that's sort of working enough that they can release specs. I would say that we could actually see a PS5 before the end of the year.
Ooh.
Which I'd be pretty excited for. I won't be upset if we don't get it before the end of the year, but a lot of information is coming out from Sony. It's not leaked information, which makes me think that it's a lot closer than anybody expects it to be. Any additional thoughts on that?
I think you said them all.
Yeah, I did sort of go on a bit of a rant. It just... Obviously, I read the article for it. I did a fair bit of research into it. I was listening to another podcast that was also talking about it and a few other things like that. And I watched the press release, and it upsets me.
Dude, I read your article. It's good. Don't worry about it.
So it does upset me a little bit. So I think we're gonna leave it there because we're at 47 minutes, and tomorrow our Avengers breakdown, audio breakdown, comes out, and that's another hour.
Yeah.
And I think maybe asking people to listen to 2 hours of us a weekend is a bit much.
Nah, you want more.
Yeah, so we're going to leave the podcast here and leave you with all of that to digest and think about, and go away and talk to your friends, and then get back and talk to us about it and tell us how wrong we are on Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, before we do the Twitter handles and stuff, I know I've been saying this for weeks, but we finally went out and did it. We will be on YouTube as of this podcast.
Woo!
Which we're very, very excited about. We got the new mic. Everything, obviously, you can tell is coming out a lot clearer now. So we're going to start putting things on video format. It's not going to be like a video you won't see us, it'll just be the logo, but it will be accessible on YouTube.
You don't get to see us yet.
I mean, if you want to see us, just go to our Instagram account. We're trying to regularly upload little videos of us doing stuff.
Yeah.
We did discuss maybe doing some behind the scenes snippets. We'll see how all that goes, but get on YouTube, start following us there, start spreading the word, and turn the whole world into the Real Talk world of just absolute nonsense.
Yeah, make us the new IGN.
Yeah. Because
we're
going after the title.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, we're better than them.
Yeah, we are. With that being said, you can follow me on Twitter at ReviewByLurch.
You can follow myself at JarrodKiddo1.
Very, very creative. You can follow us both on Instagram. We're RealTalk_PopCultureDiscussions.
And then you can follow us on Facebook as well.
You can follow us on Facebook. We're there, again, as Real Talk Pop Culture Discussions. Just look for our logo. It's on everything that we do.
Yeah.
The podcast is on soundcloud.com/RealTalkPCD, and we are on YouTube. Just look for Real Talk Pop Culture Discussions.
Yeah.
I've waited so long to say that.
Yeah.
This has been Real Talk Podcast episode 10.
Yep.
Which is huge. I never thought we were going to make it this far. Well, I did.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be honest, I knew we were going to make it this far, but it doesn't make it any less huge.
It really doesn't.
And we will be back with you again next week. As always, guys, keep it real.
Keep it real. Stay sexy.